Assalamualaikum and welcome to another episode of CIO Mashups. My name is Rabia Khalib, and with me in the studios today you've got somebody who you've seen intermittently on TV. Now you've heard her laugh.
Yes.
And you also heard her voice very often on the radio. I've got Annie with me. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. And just for sake of clarification, you're not the same Annie who is the singer.
No.
Okay. Thanks. I like you much better now.
You have no idea. I don't understand how people can even ask.
I know
like
you.
to think I sound different, but no, that's not me. Sorry to disappoint.
And she's based out of the UK, and you.
She is 16, or she was 16 a few years ago, and she sounds it. I'm much past 16, and I sound it, so you know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So Annie, just for anyone who doesn't know you, or perhaps has only heard your voice, tell us what you've been up to and who Annie is.
Okay. Well, technically, I graduated from medical school, so I'm a doctor.
Dr. Annie.
Yes. But the reason you might have heard me is because I've been doing radio for 7 years now. Alhamdulillah. I started out from City FM 89, which is when I met you first.
Right.
And then I've been with 91 for the past 6 years. I did a TV show for about 11 months.
Which is a whole lot of fun.
Mostly, yes. And that was a cooking show. I didn't cook. I got paid to stand there and be pleasant and ask questions that people wanted to know.
And dance along.
No, he danced. The chef danced, and I just kind of bit my lip and smiled.
But it was a great show.
It was an awesome experience, great show. You know, people still recognize me for it, so that's what I've been doing.
Okay, so before you leave, we must get your autograph also.
Of course, you could have it.
Yeah, okay.
But you should, for you guys should also know that my first ever celebrity interview per se was with you.
Yeah, but we had printed it in Net Express.
Yes, we had. That's right.
I still remember the title of the article the interview was Voice of Annie.
Yes.
VOA.
And I felt like such a star. I photocopied it and I sent it to my mother.
Right.
And I said, "Amma, frame karke lagale." And she was like, and my brothers are like, it's her last one. So.
And was it?
No, alhamdulillah, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It's interesting you say that you started off on radio and then on TV also. What's your listenership or viewership been like? I mean, what's the experience been like between radio and TV?
Okay, I think with radio, we have more of a male audience because men, if they are going to sit down and watch TV, they prefer the news or news-related things.
Right.
But men tend to listen to the radio in the car. Women will have their own CDs that they listen to. So with radio, I felt I had more of a male audience, and it was very varied. I think people who have been loyal to Annie are men maybe in their 40s and 50s and older.
Okay.
And with TV, it was more women and people who end up cooking. Never been able to get to the kids. I don't know why.
I don't know. Maybe we can get you to do something where you can reach out.
Yeah, although I lack patience required to work with kids, and so
I can't.
We can see where that goes.
Cannot imagine that. But just to be on the safe side, we'll keep all the sharp utensils away from you.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Pediatrics was not my thing.
Oh, definitely. So, what did you study?
I studied medicine.
Okay.
I'm done with regular general medicine, which is the MBBS here, and inshallah, I plan to apply in emergency medicine.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do that, and I've given my board exams for the US MLE.
Okay.
Emergency medicine is what I'd like to specialize in.
How did you balance? Because at the time when I met you, like you said, you were still studying.
I was, yes. I was in my first year of med school.
Oh my God!
2003.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay, or maybe I didn't.
No, I started radio and med school the very same day.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's this thing known as balance.
Yeah.
Where you balance your personal, professional, and academic life. You obviously don't know that concept.
No, actually, I think I did a very good job because when you know you have 3 priorities, they're all right there.
Right.
My parents let me get into radio or start doing radio because they said if you fail even a test, you're out. So I had to make sure I was studying well, and then I wanted to do a good job on radio. I knew I would quit the day I felt like my demand was going down. I didn't want to compromise on anything. And yes, I don't have much of a social life, but I'm okay with that. I've always had the same 4 or 5 friends, and that's lasted. So,
and Facebook obviously hasn't helped.
Facebook for me is more of a, you go there to see kiski shaadi ho gayi, kaun kaisa lag raha tha.
Right.
Oh my God, she got a haircut. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
I tried Twitter for 2 weeks, And I never had anything interesting to say. It was like, Annie is not able to sleep at 3 a.m. I wasn't very good with that.
Okay. But it would increase the number of make friendship with me, please.
Will you be friends with me?
Friends.
Friends, yes.
Isn't that how we became friends?
Well, no, ours was more of a, oh my gosh,
I came
from a celebrity.
I came to you and I shook your hand and I said, can I be friends with
and
you?
it was coffee then, it's coffee now, so we've had a very coffee relationship.
Yes, and we've met a whole of 2 times in the
Exactly.
past 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
that's what true friendship is all about.
Absolutely, and stayed in touch.
You've been in the US for a while now.
Well, I'm here after 9 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
How has and you're back on radio.
I am back on radio.
How, I mean, do you feel a difference? People who used to listen to you, is it easy to get them back?
Absolutely. I've been so blessed to have the same listenership. It was like people kind of tuned in every month and say, is she back? Is she back? And they're back with their same demands. Annie, Rafi ka wala gana aapke paas nahi hai. It's been great. Kishore Kumar and Ahmed Rushdi, and I tried to kind of mature in that time frame. I've been very blessed. I still get recognized for my work. I think I'm very lucky that way. But yeah, in terms of work, it's changed. I think the market, the quality of commercials has changed. I think there's new radio stations. That has changed a little bit. So yeah, but as far as I go, I think things are the same.
Okay. You sound, how should I put it diplomatically, American.
Yes, I do.
Okay. But then the programming that you do on radio is very non-Western. It's extremely Eastern.
It is.
You're talking about popular artists in the 60s and 70s, old songs, old Indian songs, old Pakistani songs. Why the interest? I've often heard you quote Sher o Shairi. You seem to be very fond. You always refer to your elders.
Absolutely.
And make everything very personable. That's not what I would have expected had I just, had a conversation with you.
Right.
So why the interest there?
Well, I grew up in LA. I was, my initial schooling, elementary school, junior high was there. When we came here, people just kind of expected us to be, Angrez ki aulad, Urdu nahi aati hogi. I didn't want to become one of those people. Because back then, this is the 90s, people thought it was cool to not be able to speak in Urdu. यहाँ के पले बड़े बच्चे भी जो थे, उनके पास भी एक accent होता था, उनकी भी उर्दू अच्छी नहीं होती थी.
Myself included.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know how that happened.
Right.
Because, no offense to anyone at all, but to me, it was amazing if somebody could quote Ghalib or Ahmed Faraz or Parveen Shakir, Those are timeless things for me. They always will be.
Okay.
And I wanted to be a part of that. It was my own initiative. I still have friends who think I'm weird. They're like, really? Who sleeps with Ahmed Faraz's work next to her? I said, I do. I like it. I enjoy it. Many times in life, I felt maybe I should, kind of neutralize the way I speak, but I can't because that would be fake.
Right. Oh, hello. And it would also sound like you were an Indian in a call center.
It is very hot today.
Yes, it is.
It is just and I love the coffee. It can't work.
Coffee is the best.
Yes. I don't do chai. And daki. Sorry.
And the fat came and went.
Yes, exactly.
With no effect.
With no effect.
Completely. Was it a culture shock for you to come back? Or is it still a culture shock for you to come back?
Can I be honest? Sure. It's a culture shock when I go to the US.
Okay.
Here it's, I don't know whether to say mashallah or say really, in Karachi, I can speak for Karachi. I'm not very familiar with Lahore and Islamabad. There's home for everyone. You could be the chick who doesn't wear shalwar kameez, and you have a place you can go, And for people like us who are right in the middle, and then for people who are afraid of stepping out of their houses, there's something for everyone.
Right.
And it's always been like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think even in the 90s, everybody had a spot, and everyone...
You will be accepted for
who you are.
No matter where you are.
In the US, things are changing. If it was very out there and liberal 20 years ago or 10 years ago, it's still very, very liberal. I feel very much at home here.
Okay.
I don't feel as much at home in the US.
But reverting back to your comment where you say कि यहाँ के पले बड़े बच्चे Urdu nahi aati.
Huh.
And Is that culture changing? Do you see that changing at any time?
I do, because I've been meeting with people in this trip, and I've been here 2 weeks at the time of this interview. I'm meeting a lot of people who are trying to communicate in Urdu.
Okay.
You know, they will make it a point to communicate in Urdu. I think people are, well, they're still not going towards shairi, magar they're aware of, yes, Ahmed Faraz died last year. You know, Iqbal Bano passed away. I have more people on my show, listening to my show, asking for songs like, you know, "Oh Mere Dil Ka Chain Kiska Gana Tha." I remember my mom singing it.
Right.
I think it's increasing. I think being very Gora is not as cool. I think people are becoming proud of Pakistan.
Right.
I hope the brain drain is ending, because I remember you asked me about the brain drain like 7 years ago, and I hope it's changing. I see a lot of younger people sticking to Pakistan, coming back after their masters. I think things are getting better.
Okay. Are they? I mean, in your field?
In my field, no. Okay. I hate to say this, but medicine is definitely the field that people aren't, nobody's coming back. Because, you know, yahan pe hospitals ka jo haal hai, it's abysmal compared to the US. Myself, I mean, it's hypocritical of me to say anything else, because it would be hypocritical. Right. I am giving my boards to practice medicine in the US, because I know yahan pe emergency medicine mein specialization na hone ke barabar hai.
Right.
So it would be smart for me to specialize and bring that skill back here. The question is, will I come back here? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So medicine is perhaps the field where we're not doing so well here. But journalism, you know, people that you're meeting, I'm sure lawyers are coming back. But every field, people are coming back here. I hope the same happens for medicine, but at the time, I'm going to be honest, aisa nahi hai.
Okay. You seem to be a very well-read person also. Do you read the newspaper? I mean, on an everyday level.
On an everyday level, I guess I'd pass, yeah.
You read the newspaper?
Once in a while, yeah.
Visit websites online?
Yes, yes.
Okay. How much of a noise do you think the Pakistani youth is actually making in terms of this constant crib that Pakistan is a very negative place? We just talked about brain drain, talked about various professions. How much of a noise do you think we, as in the youth, are making to say that it's okay to be here?
I think we're doing more of complaining than we are acting. You know, like
walk the walk kind of thing.
Yeah, we're just talking the talk right now. Everyone has an opinion.
Right.
बहुत कम लोग हैं that are actually saying, you know what, I'm going to pass on that 6-figure salary. I'm going to come back and set up here and risk a lot.
Right.
And put my wife through the heat and my kids through school here. बहुत कम लोग असल में कर रहे हैं, but Pakistan is on the map right now. Unfortunately, it's negative.
Right.
But I think we're so much better today in 2010 than we were back in 2003. Okay. It's happening, you know.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but since you are also involved in media, and I mean, what kind of things do you think we as the everyday common citizen, should or could be doing to use this access to media to kind of change that perception? Just tangible things.
Yeah, I think things like, let's clean the neighborhood. I've always been a big fan of that. I've seen it happen at Redondo Beach, which is where I was in California. It was nearby. Right. Different towns, literally different blocks would do it. People living on Etihad will decide, you know, we're going to clean up. Sunday, 2 hours. Everybody gets out, cleans up. Just that. Or carpooling. Schools should circulate or somehow figure something out in which people living in Phase 8, for example, or PECHS, these are their phone numbers, get in touch, set up a carpool.
Right.
That would be something that can be done, has no money involved. That's something I think that could be done.
Pooling of resources, collaboration.
And there is so much, there are so many channels on TV now. I know, because I've worked with one, and I know they're so open to ideas. Instead of getting just celebrities, it's getting real people not talking about it, but doing something about it. I think we don't have any right to complain. We have everything, we just need to utilize it.
I think now we have a lot more platforms to complain on.
Absolutely.
But perhaps not the right to complain still.
No rights to complain. We have the people, we have the skill, we have the opportunities. Just got to pull them together somehow.
Just to take off from this idea you said about cleaning your neighborhood, there was a New York Times post made on a bunch of kids in Lahore, I think, who just went out
and cleaned up,
and no cameras, no nothing. They just cleaned up, and somebody wrote in. I think it was a citizen of the neighborhood. Who wrote into the New York Times or wrote a blog post about that. The New York Times picked that up, and they did a story on them. And those kids became celebrities overnight.
That's what I'm talking
There we
about.
go.
Just doing it, not calling up a TV channel. Chilo, you want to do it, go ahead and do that too. But doing something about it, you know.
Right.
I think that's the way to get things done.
Okay,
Maybe pick that up from the West,
perhaps.
right?
Perhaps. Just want to quickly wrap up. What's in store for you for the next couple of months?
Next couple of months, I'm hoping we'll be in Karachi. I'd like to continue doing my radio show. I'm going to stay away for TV for a while. I'm not just too keen on that, but I'm definitely looking forward to doing more radio. Just soaking up Karachi, you know, having chai at every dhaba I can think of, and having fun and just the good stuff.
Okay.
Inshallah, yes.
Give that Colgate smile one more time after the pod.
Okay, all right.
You want to quote any of your favorite ashar, just so people know?
Well, they say, you know, it's गिरते हैं शह सवार ही मैदान जंग में वो तिफल क्या करे जो घुटनों के बल चले. That's
Wow.
Iqbal. Yes.
Very nice.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here,
It's a
and
pleasure.
thanks for. I mean, it was always great to catch up.
Thank you.
But I hope that we can now do some more in terms of, you know, telling people, kind of guiding them with ideas as to what can be done.
I can only share ideas,
Yeah.
and I would love to do that.
Fair enough. So we will take you up on the offer. Annie, you were watching Annie from Masala TV.
Yes.
And we'll get you to dance before the end of the show.
Oh yeah, right. You think?
And Radio 1 FM 91. I'll share whatever contact details I can of
Okay.
yours, and
Uh-huh.
have, in case anybody wants to get in touch, feel free to post your questions, comments, or queries below this video post, and we'll get Annie to, no matter wherever she is in the world, to come back and respond to your
Oh, I
queries.
could definitely do that. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, great. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you, and thank you for watching.
Join us again another day, another week, with another episode of CIO Mashups. This is Rabi Gharib and Annie.
Bye bye.
Signing